Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And I am so excited today because I'm going to be chatting with another C-Suite Network member. I love it when I get to do that because we have such great members. Of course, I love all my guests, but it just kind of is a little extra when they're a C-Suite member. So please join me in welcoming Susanne Ekström to our program today. Welcome, Susanne. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be on your show or your podcast. So I'm really looking forward to this hour.
Perfect. Like I said, we are going to have a fabulous conversation. So let me tell people just a little bit about you. So Susanne Ekström is a Swedish entrepreneur, if you couldn't tell, a world-renowned CEO coach, and a #1 international best-selling author, as well as the founder of BeASmarterLeader and SEE, which is SEE in all caps, her initials, Management, with a clear mission to help CEOs lead with confidence, clarity, and impact. She's guided over 6,500 leaders across the US, Canada, and Europe to stronger teams, sharper focus, and smarter results. Her signature offer, Boost Your Bottom Line by $499,000 in 99 days, has helped clients unlock over $30 million in new profit in just the past 5 years. Susanne's journey began in the aftermath of the 2001 DotCom tech crash when her startup went bankrupt. That moment shaped her path forward, helping others build strong, sustainable companies that don't succeed, they last. Oh, they don't just succeed, they last. That's more important, right? Today, her work is featured in magazines such as Brainz Magazine, HR Tech Outlook, The Enterprise World, and USA Wire. Her CEO roundtables, books, and CEO leadership signature programs continue to shape how the next generation of leaders grow by design, not default. Her book, Leadership Development for Smarter Leaders, confidently builds lasting habits, EQ, and team motivation skills you need to lead successfully and drive results in 99 days or less, actually comes out a week after this is broadcast. So we'll have a link to it in our show notes. So again, welcome, Susanne. How are you?
I am doing great. Really, really great. It's Friday here for me, a Friday afternoon in Sweden, in Gothenburg, and the weather is perfect. So it's going to be a fantastic fall weekend.
I know.
It's
September.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking before the program. Somewhere we missed summer. But I love fall. And so looking forward to that. Well, I always like to ask my guests how they got to where they are today. So tell us just a little bit more about that.
Yeah. As you said in the introduction, I was a part of a company that went bankrupt in the 2001 crash. And I was one of the main owners. And we were around 400 people in 10 countries. And I was at that point, I was living in the Netherlands. I moved there I was the head of the largest office in the company, and then I thought, what am I doing here? I'm just doing administration, and that's not fun. So I went to the Netherlands to help the country manager there to start up there. And in the middle of that, things were going to start to be a bit more difficult. People were, or investors were not so happy anymore. And one day, when I was on a holiday trip in the Alps, I got a call from a colleague that said that we have stopped all our payments. And Yeah. So yeah, I sat there in the ski lift and with behind my glasses, my tears were running down my cheeks. So yes. So and 1 month later, we filed for bankruptcy, and that was a huge uh, realization for me that even if the company that I work for is not now I lost the word, but yeah, sustainable. I am
Right.
still,
Yes.
yeah. And what I saw also was that we did a couple of epic failures. We didn't set up to scale successfully.
Okay.
We didn't have consistent ways of working. And we, as the management team, we stopped listening to our people. And we thought that we had all the answers and we knew best. And that is something that has been with me since that time. And I've seen that being repeated again and again and again. So after that, I went back to my hometown, Gothenburg, and thought, what do I want to do now? It was all in the crash, so it wasn't that much opportunities, but still I got the opportunity to start working with a management consulting firm because I said that I wanted to be part of finding what are the opportunities, what are the problems, what are the bottlenecks, instead of coming with an IT solution.
Right.
That is too late in the
Okay.
sort of at the food chain. Like I want to be earlier.
You want to be the appetizer as opposed to the dessert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When people still remembers.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So I worked many years as a management consultant and with small companies, large international companies on the stock market, all around different companies all around the world. And what I found out is that there are it feels a bit stupid to say but not stupid to say, but all the problems are repeating themselves.
Right.
Regardless of the size of the company, the industry of the company, the country of the company, but in different shapes. And if you're a smaller company, it looks like one thing, and when you have like a company of 500, you have the same problem, but in a different shape.
Right.
So what I saw then was that I really want to help CEOs of companies that are in this starting phase, small, medium-sized, that are growing and also struggling with going from being the founder and being in the middle of everything, doing everything. You have all your people around you, you make decisions, you have these great parties and you celebrate and you have problems and you solve them and you go that extra mile for each other. And then you suddenly need to transition to be the CEO. And that is something completely different.
Right. Right.
And you also, maybe when you have like 80, 90 people, employees, you realize that, what? Sarah? She's not bought into this fantastic company culture. She just has this as a job. Yeah, it's like, woohoo! So the realization is that the company culture you built together isn't something that will just stay the same. It will change when people come in, and also when you grow, you have different opportunities and challenges with how you should structure your company. And you might have 5 people with the same role, but they do the job completely different because you don't have any structure for them or any processes to say this is the way we do it. And Yeah, and you delegate, you think you delegate, but you don't. And then your people will always come to you for decisions and ask questions. And you think that you've delegated, and then they don't do it. And you say, what's the problem? I told you.
Right. I told you to go do it.
Yeah, yeah. Lot of things in this phase from somewhere around 30 people up to 200, I would say. And also, so the first thing, what I then saw was that this is a market for me. This is something I can really be of contribution. So I focus on CEOs like this in this company size, or also revenue between 8 and 20 million, somewhere around these figures. And to really help them to first create a CEO role that they would love, like freeing up the time to see what they are really investing, spending, or wasting their time on. And often also do that with their C-suites, because they are in the same position. They can also free up time. So it's pretty easy actually to free up at least 8 hours weekly.
Wow.
In a short amount of time. And if you see that 1 hour of a CEO like this, 1 hour of his or her time is worth around 2,000, you can free up a value of 16,000 weekly in US dollars.
I love that.
Yeah, and a C-suite person around $500 an hour.
Right.
Yeah, so then that is a value of 4,000. And if you have like 5 people in the C-suite,
that adds up.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you both free up valuable time and you invest that time into money-making activities, you can get such a boost in just a couple of months' time.
Right.
And you will have more fun. You will have more elevated people in your company that actually get to do more have more responsibility and really own their tasks instead of having someone coming pointing at them and
you will do this.
Yeah. Or you did this wrong. Yeah. So that is the first thing. And then so really see, and also of course have the discussion around, do you want to be a CEO?
Right.
Because that might be an issue. Like I don't want to do the CEO stuff. And I don't see myself. I want to be in the middle of everything. Yeah, but then we will find you another one.
Right.
Be the CEO. Yeah, you don't have to because you're the owner. And then you can also do a lot of things with the C-suite together and see what are our tasks, what are our responsibilities, and who is the best one. Perform them. Normally, it might be the CEO's responsibility, but the CEO doesn't like it.
Right.
And
so the COO can do it, or whoever.
Yeah. And look at the differences with if you're a doer, if you're a thinker, a lot of things you can look at so that you can create a management team that really works together instead of things falling between the chairs, as we say in Swedish, or you do double work, or you get frustrated or irritated. You know whose responsibility, who has each responsibility.
Right.
And that is something I see generally, that clear roles and responsibilities are a huge lack.
Right. And we're not talking job description.
No, exactly. We are talking roles and responsibilities and really, what do I own?
Right.
So that is something that it is like a really starting point. And then when you have freed up the time, what can you do with the time?
Right. You know, develop new products and services, go to a movie, I mean, whatever.
start training.
Mm-hmm.
Or also,
Mm-hmm.
when you dress for work in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you can put on your large ears
Mm-hmm.
and start
And
listening to people.
listen.
Yeah,
Yes, listen. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right.
So communication is so important,
Mm-hmm.
and 90% of
Mm-hmm.
communication is listening.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we have two ears and
Yeah,
one mouth, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And I don't mean that you should listen to each and every one of your
Right.
employees all the
Mm-hmm.
time,
That'd be all you do.
yeah, yeah. But you can find out so much more if you
Mm-hmm.
go around and
Mm-hmm.
actually talk to people. And if you haven't done that before,
Mm-hmm.
you can start with some easy questions,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you can get the
Mm-hmm.
conversations going. Otherwise, it
Right.
will be yes, no,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Right. Because they're
yeah,
scared. Why are you
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You used
Mm-hmm.
to sit in your corner office
Mm-hmm.
and or be in
Mm-hmm.
meetings all day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So and from there, you get a lot of information, you get a lot of inputs,
Mm-hmm.
problems, bottlenecks, frustrations, irritations,
Mm-hmm.
like lack of systems, lack
Mm-hmm.
of automations,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
can see there, and from there, the most important thing is that people feel listened to and
Mm-hmm.
heard,
Right.
and and what you do with all the
Mm-hmm.
information might not be the
Mm-hmm.
most important thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that you actually
Right.
listen to
Mm-hmm.
them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say to them, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I really got you,
Yeah.
and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have this on our plan for
Mm-hmm.
this year,
Right.
but I will
But
definitely
mm-hmm.
note it down, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or if you solve something else that someone else might,
Mm-hmm.
this might solve itself
Mm-hmm.
on the at the same time. And when you start listening to your people, they will be more positive. And
Mm-hmm.
if you fix things that they need first,
Mm-hmm.
when you come to them with your problem,
Right.
they will
Mm-hmm.
help you
Mm-hmm.
if you help them first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in a way really easy in theory,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be really hard in
Right.
real life.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Both to hear
Mm-hmm.
what people actually are
Mm-hmm.
saying about your company and
Mm-hmm.
how you run it,
Mm-hmm.
and what the problems are. You
Mm-hmm.
might go into defend mode, or you want to
Mm-hmm.
explain, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so many questions, so many things to talk about. Yeah, the communication thing, when I was in corporate America, I worked for a very large company. Our company overall was the seventh largest in the world, and our division was pretty good size. And and it was cubicle world, right? You had the 5 foot tall walls. And for whatever reason, our CEO must have talked to someone like you and started walking the floors. And we had 10 floors, somewhere around there. And he was very tall, so you could see him, right? And it scared everybody half to death. Why is he here? What's he doing? And he really was just wanting to get to know people and know what's going on. And of course, and now I was the head of employee communications and corporate communications. So I talked to him a lot, and I knew he was going to be doing this, and I knew why. And I told him, I said, you realize you're going to scare people because some of them have only ever seen him sitting on a stage, right? Things like that. And he said, but I want to know. I really want to know. And what he discovered very quickly was the people who knew about what was going on, the people in the mail room, and of course, all the admin assistants, the secretaries, right? Those were the people who knew exactly what was going on. And sometimes he didn't even ask them about company stuff. He would just, maybe see a picture of their kid playing soccer at their desk, and he'd ask about that. And so just kind of, and it was actually a challenge for him because he was very much an introvert. But he also discovered that just kind of the little chit chat was a little bit easier. But he made it a policy that he really went around. And there were frequently times where he said, that's not in our budget. But now that I know that it's something that people are thinking about, we can think about it. And he tried really hard, especially if he was telling people no. He really tried to tell them why, not just, nope, we can't do that. Because, of course, the second you hear that, you are never going to make a suggestion again.
Exactly.
Right. And the other thing he did, and I've mentioned this on the program before, it was really funny. We all had badges, right? Because we had to badge into the building, all that. And he made me redo everybody's badge so that their first name was very large font. And I was like, why? And he said, I want to be able to stand 6 feet away from them and call them by their first name. Because, of course, we all love hearing our own first name. And so, if the CEO walks up to you or, in the elevator with you or whatever and says, hey, Susanna, how are you doing today? You're like, oh, my God, the CEO knows my name. Well, he could read, but that was part of that making people feel that they were valued process.
Yeah. So important. And that for the whole keeping your people, in my tagline on LinkedIn, I said, I coach CEOs in building winning companies where people love to work.
Right.
And that is the part of creating an environment where people love to work.
Right. And there are always people, no matter where they are, that it's a job. Right.
Yeah,
they go because they want that paycheck, but you still want them to be happy, and because then they might decide, oh, I do like this. I want, I want to stay here. And because happy people are obviously more productive people. And so, it might not be their long-term career plan, but why can't they be happy while they're there?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also so much, talk about high achievers or A players, and you have to retain them and blah, 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 blah. And I can see many people in companies that aren't high achievers or A players, but they might be a person in a wrong position or a role. And if you talk to them and realize what is their passion, what they wanting to do instead of what they are actually doing, instead of maybe parting ways.
Right. Because filling a position is hard and expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
You might change your role and they will be a high achiever instead. So if you don't know your people or your team, you have a hard time with these things, and you will have a lot of people like transitioning.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at places as simple as like a fast food place. And we hear about these in the news here in the United States, where somebody retires from Burger King, working there 20 years. Well, I'm guessing he didn't work there because he liked flipping burgers. He liked it because of how he was treated, or, wherever the place is, right? How they were treated, did they feel valued? All of those various things. And also, because of the people, that not just the people that they're working with, but the customers, the clients, all of those too. And I think we need to remember it's not just a transaction, which I think is unfortunately what has really happened with a lot. And I think that's why so many people are kind of threatened and afraid of AI, right? Because it's, to AI, you are just the next person in line or whatever. And, it's that personality, that empathy, all of that. I think that's what is the main thing that really makes people happy in a company.
Yeah, and that they feel you care for them. Yeah, and they know your name,
right?
And it doesn't have to be the CEO. It might be your manager and how he or she is treating your team, and if it's safe to speak up, and and that is also something really important for any leader, or I would say anyone, to when I wrote my book this summer, I studied really much on emotional intelligence. and the self-awareness and the self-regulation parts are really, really things that I would suggest anyone would do a deep dive into.
Right.
Because we have so much with us from our past. For me, it's I've always said to myself that I'm not good enough. And that came from me playing basketball in high school. And it was before that, but that was like really thing that really stuck me as this is when I this like went out in full bloom, so to speak. And I used to be a point guard before I started in my high school team. And
and that's the controlling, you're pretty much the boss on the court.
The play center, And sorry,
that's okay.
Yeah, I'm tall. So my coach, he wanted me to play center.
Oh,
the person in the middle,
right, the rebounder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I didn't like that, but I was like 16, 17, and I didn't know.
And you do what the coach tells you to do.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say something to speak up for myself, and we had other people that were less tall that were point guards instead, and he was of course trying to top the team,
right?
But for me that became something that I became less and less motivated. I played worse, and one day after training I just went out of that training room, went on the bus home, and never got back. Never got back. I haven't played basketball since.
And it was a passion of yours.
Yeah, and it died, and that is what my coach didn't do. He just told me what to do. He didn't ask for my opinion, and even if I would have ended up being a center, if we have had a discussion around that, that might have been okay, or I would have said, no, then I will quit. I will find another team where I would be point guard. So so you can destroy so much without communication and
right. And that happens so much as when we're kids, and sometimes it's parents or a teacher or somebody protecting us. Right. Little girls don't do whatever. Or little boys shouldn't do whatever. I mean, all of those various things. And they're trying to protect us. And so that's great. But they forget that maybe that just crushed your dreams. And you might have been a big player in the European basketball world. Who knows? But at the same point, when you just said, no, I'm just not going to do that, then that was, and when we have our dreams stepped on, it's very hard, because then it's almost, and this is part of this self-awareness, right? Because then it gets easier for us to just not put ourselves out there, because we don't want to be stepped on again. And even if we're the CEO, we're the department manager, we're the whatever it is, there's kind of that little reserve that we're holding, because we don't want, and it happens with everything, whether it's dating, whether it's, your job, you don't want to get hurt,
No.
and then of course you've got those people who are going forward no matter what, right? But I also always think with those, maybe their bravado is fake bravado also. And it's interesting in the whole communications thing, how sometimes just telling somebody, thank you, I appreciate you.
And
I don't care if it's somebody who works for you or the person in the grocery store, whatever it is, that little bit might be the thing that they need to get them through that day.
And also when you consider the thing that I think is like that, you say one positive thing and you say 4 negative things.
Right.
You hear No, the other way around. 4 positive things and one negative.
Right. And we only
negative.
focus on that one negative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those 4 positives might have been incredible, but we heard that you did that wrong, or, whatever it was. And so, and it's about knowing ourselves, which is really hard. Right. That's why there's so many therapists and people that, are helping people through that. But, I also wanted to talk about the transition from being, and I think this is, where definitely you come in. We were the business owner. We're the business founder. This is our passion. And wait a minute, I have to be in charge of payroll. And I have, all of those other things that we never signed up to do. Now, there are people who were born to be CEOs. I don't even know any other way to put that. But there are also people who are born to be entrepreneurs, right? They don't want to be that. And so I love that you work with people to make sure that they're in the right role. Maybe being the CEO, it gets them the fancy title and the fancy cars and, all of that stuff. But if they're not happy by, not getting their fingers in the dirt or helping, whatever it is, then, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In the long run, at least. Yeah. And it's bad for you. It's bad for your people. It's bad for your company.
Right. Because the employees, and to a degree, the people that, the business associates and all, we pick up on that, right? We know that there's something missing. And I think we see that with a lot of people where you just kind of go, huh. Right. They give that big speech, but they're just reading it, or whatever it is. And so I love that you work with people to really help them find that role.
Yeah. And also to see what's blocking them in getting to the next step. Like we were talking about self-awareness and also self-regulation, that you can't just barge in when you're angry at something and yell at people.
Right.
That is self-regulation.
Oh, I had one of those bosses. Whoa, he threw chairs. He was, and I didn't last.
Yeah, because you need to feel the room. You need to see, instead of reacting immediately, be self-aware of where is this thought, feeling, emotion coming from.
Right.
Again, for me, it's like, oh, now I'm thinking I'm not good enough when I might be like not wanting to call a prospect because I think it doesn't matter.
They're not going to want to work with me anyway.
No, anyway, so yeah, I can do it tomorrow. Yeah. And tomorrow becomes tomorrow. Yes. So to really work on yourself to be there for your people first, and instead of telling people, as I said before, what to do and yelling at them, have an approach where you listen to them and be with what they are saying. And you can be with whatever people say to you,
right?
Because you let your ego go.
Right.
Because you have your CEO role on. You are not there as Susanne or Deb or John or Peter or whatever. You are the CEOs. So you embody the role, not the person.
Right.
And that is hard. That is really hard.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the best leadership skills that someone can have is empathy, right? To know here's what's going on. But I think probably one of the biggest problems is that people they have those titles, because there is a difference between being the CEO, the president, the founder, the whatever, and being a leader. But we get forced into those title roles without ever having any training on how to, I did that. I got promoted with, to be in charge of a department with zero training. Here, go do this. You were good at what you were doing. Therefore, you should be good at the next level, right? Doesn't always happen that way. And, I didn't have any idea how to deal with issues. When I would have, problems with employees, because, and I'd also been their coworker, and their peer. Oh yeah. And so when you're all of a sudden a boss, that's a really hard thing to do. And I think, I think anybody can be a leader. And I think there are obviously natural born leaders. I think we see that, but not everybody can be in charge, and not everybody wants to be in charge.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be the same for the founder.
Right. Yeah. They liked building widgets. They don't want to run payroll. And we had somebody, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, in C-Suite Network, who was talking about that one time. He said, he loved doing what it was. And so he was now smart man. He was very actively seeking a CEO for his company because he wanted to be the chief doer. As and he wanted to be down in there tinkering and doing and all of those things. And he said, I need somebody to run the company. And of course that's hard for people to do because there is that natural transition. But for them to say, I don't want to do that, because then they think, ooh, I'm a failure. Back to that whole self-talk thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the things you tell yourself to you are your biggest enemy, or biggest
critic.
You destroy so much for yourself. You create yourself as a small person instead of being a person of abundance, for example.
Right.
I also had a CEO I worked with a while ago, and he was like this. He had those ideas, really great product ideas. He wanted to invent things. He was like a professor. Like I don't know if you had him in the US, but when I was young, we had this TV show called Professor Balthazar.
Well, that sounds fun.
So he went around and around, and suddenly he came up with an idea, and that was this CEO, and he only wanted to do that. He wanted to go to exhibitions. He wanted to meet people, talk, create, sit in cafes, think. Want to have the responsibility for a lot of people, and he had one of his CEOs he had a global company. He has a global company, and he had to fire a CEO. And he was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this, Susanne. I don't know. So we like role played, and he was like, blah, 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 blah. I was stop the fluff, go back to the basic, and so we role played for a while, and then he had the conversation. Then he went back to me and said, "This is so great. Instead of having an angry person that would fight me, I now have a person that we are on speaking terms with, and she will do what's best for the company, and we will figure out how to create a good ending of this." So we are everyone. We are only people, and we have our different skill sets and our different drives and passions, and we all. Even if you are like a really high CEO, you don't know how to have a proper conversation with someone without trying to make it in fluff and for example, instead of being direct, but authentic, direct, and compassionate at the same time.
And it comes back to what we were saying before. You need to get out and meet the people. How many times do we talk about the C-suite as being a separate floor, a separate area? Now, I'm not saying the CEO's office needs to be right in the middle of everything, because, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that not everybody needs to hear and things like that. But, I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said that her CEO routinely eats lunch in the cafeteria with everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, he could have it brought in. He, all sorts of things into his office, but no, he goes down to the cafeteria and and she said, there's especially the new people. They're like, oh, that's the CEO. I mean, like you would do if, say, it was a movie star or a big sports figure, right?
Yeah.
But then they realize, oh, he's one of us.
Mm.
And so then they do think, hey, I can go talk to Bill about that problem or that suggestion, or maybe I'm just going to say hi to him. Because I think the other thing that happens is we, as the employees, isolate them also. We think we can't talk to them, right? We can't say, hey, did you have a good weekend? All of those things. We're just like, oh, no, we can't talk to them. They're the CEO. No, it's okay. Now, obviously, if they're busy, don't interrupt and things like that. But it's okay to say, hey, how you doing? And I've always, it's funny, you always have those people in companies, right, that they don't see those levels. They just see everybody is on the same level. And so they have absolutely no problem with going up to the CEO and talking to him, just as they would have absolutely no problem going to the lowest level person.
Yeah. And I just noticed what you said, going up to the CEO. You said like it was like,
yes, they're up on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Right.
It's actually a pretty funny story, but the Swedish company SKF, they have their main office here in Gothenburg, and then they moved a lot of a production to a place in Germany. And then they build a large building in Germany with more floors than the Swedish office.
Okay.
The Swedish headquarters. So the top management in Sweden were actually on floor 11, and there were people in Schweinfurt that were on like level 12, 13, and that wasn't possible. So in the Swedish elevator, then it was like blah 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 1, 2, 3, 4 level, and then there were top management. They were like on floor 17, so they skipped a couple of floors just to be
to keep them up there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've one of the things, we keep doing these sports discussions, but because I think sports is actually very much a big part of this, right? So, many years ago, when Peyton Manning, now I'm going to talk American football, not soccer, football. And so Peyton Manning became the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. I'm from Denver, so, this was very important. And Peyton is, of course, this fabulous player. And so this was a great thing. Well, when he moved from Indianapolis to Denver, it was still the school year. And so his family stayed in Indianapolis. And so he actually lived at the football team headquarters until his family could get out there. But he told the staff, he said, now, I need you to make me a notebook of every single employee. I want their picture. I want their important information, not just here is what they do. And so, of course, it was hard for some of them to even do this, right? He said, I want to be able to walk up to the janitor and ask them how their son Billy is. He said, because that janitor might have the key next play that we need to run.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so important. And the person who told me that was somebody who would really know. So it wasn't just kind of one of those urban legends. But it was very important for him that he was, obviously he was not the team owner. And so there were people above him, but he was the quarterback and he was Peyton Manning. But he wanted everybody to know that he was approachable. But more importantly, he wanted to know enough about them so that he could at least start the conversation. And I mean, just that emotional intelligence was incredible.
Yeah. What a great story.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about is something that you talk about in your book and in other places, and we mentioned it at the start, and that's that word delegate. Yeah. Now if you haven't have guessed, I'm type A. It's really hard for me to delegate, right? Because first of all, I can only do it. I only know the right way to do it. All of these various ways, which, right, we don't want to delegate. And so I'm learning. I actually am stopping and thinking, at this wise old age of mumble, 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 that I need to delegate more. But it's a challenge. And so one of my first questions is, do you delegate by telling someone they're doing something? Or do you ask for volunteers? Or is it kind of combinations of?
I would say first, you want to find what you want to delegate.
Okay.
Or
okay.
Not maybe want to delegate, but what you should delegate.
Need to delegate.
Yeah, exactly. Because it can be something that you really, really love doing yourself. But you see that this is taking up much of my time. Can someone else do it at least 80% of the quality I'm doing it? Yeah, then just get rid of it, so to speak. But there are a lot of ways to either that, as you say, you can ask people who would like to do this, or you can see that this person might be really, really good at doing this. And then you also need to know a bit about your people.
Right. Because they might be afraid to ask to do it.
Yeah. So finding the right person is great. I also want to just make a short. This is a great book.
Who Not How by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin, your fingers on his name.
Hardy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when you get something new on your table, for example, that you need to do. Don't think, how should I do this? Think, who
should do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so the first thing is to find out what you can free up time for, what some other person can do, or what you find boring, what you're not good at, things like that. What we talked about earlier about like creating your CEO role. There might be something that should be your in your role as a CEO, if normally, but maybe the CEO or the CFO is perfect to do that. So do it.
Right.
And that is the first thing, to find what the what, and also in relation to that, the why, of course. Why should someone do this? And then you sort of create a border, like a delegation. Like I call it a delegation domain. Like you have this rectangle. You say, this is what I'm delegating. This is the what. And I want this result or outcome from it. So you are stating this rectangle, and then you talk to person who, and he or she says, yes, I can do that. And then you together discuss the requisites.
And together is the key part.
Yeah, exactly. The budget, the resources, the time, the quality, whatever. And also, if you are like, I really want to follow up, and I really want to see that you're doing it. But how often should we have reconciliation meetings? Yeah. So you agree on that beforehand. You might need training. You might need like a lot of things before taking over the task or the project or the role. And yes, so the important thing is that you agree on what needs to be in place beforehand. And then your delegatee own the how. What's inside the rectangle.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. Sit on your hands. Don't barge in. Don't ask how it's going. Don't do things in between those meetings. If you see that something might not be going in the right direction, you can ask, do you need anything from me? And if the person says no, back off.
Because it might actually be a better direction than what you thought.
Yeah. And that is the only way to give the ownership fully. There are so many people that might do all the things correctly in the beginning, but then they are in there. They're going into to the domain
Yes.
jump straight into the how and say, yeah, but now you are over there. You should be here now. And then you undermine the person. You shrink their confidence. You might do this because you want to help. And you give some advice or whatever, and then they think that, ooh,
yeah, they're going to be cautious about the next decision.
Yeah, and they might go to you again and ask if you think this is the right one, and then
they start second guessing.
Yeah, and then back to you. You start thinking, did I really pick the right person? Now they're coming to ask me about it.
Yeah, I should have just done it myself.
Yeah. So you might have the best intention in helping, supporting, whatever, but you undermine that person, and they start lacking self-confidence and motivation to do it because they know that you will come there anyway and correct you. One other thing is that you say, like, to a person that might be perfect in one area, say, can you do the same thing in another area, for example? That might be completely different things. So the person might need a lot of more guidance and support, but you think that they can just do it. So you abandon them. So it's either like micromanagement, like you go in there, or you abandon them.
Right.
So those are like the different sides, but there's a lot of things, a lot of delegations going wrong in those two areas.
Right. And it's also about the other people, because they're used to coming to you. And so when they come to you and say, yada, yada, blah, 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 you need to say, I've turned that over to Bill.
Yeah.
Go talk to Bill about it.
Yeah.
And maybe even cut them off before they ever started with their yada, yada.
Yeah.
Because, just say, no, not my project. But don't completely cut them off so that they go, oh, right. Because maybe there is an issue that they need to come to you about. And so it's kind of a delicate thing. And I think that's why we just keep thinking it's just easier to do it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want everybody, and it's same thing with, your kids picking up their toys and, all of those things, right? It won't be done the way you would have done it, maybe, but it will get done. It will get done in a different way. And oh my, it might even be a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to have a vacation where you can be on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And then of course that is that dreaded fear is, oh, what if they don't need me anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. But you can do a lot of things without being in the operations.
Right.
Then you can start talking to investors, new business partners, new customers, working more on the bigger picture of the company, how to grow it further, how to balance things
well, and maybe it is that you have more free time, or you work on that degree that you never got, or whatever it was. But I think that's, that comes back to what we were saying at the start, where when you're freeing up that time, then, you get to do those other things. And maybe it is, hey, I've always had this thing that I really want to work on. Okay, well, now you've got 8 hours that you freed up. And even if it's just an hour, well, you know what? You've got the time to work on that.
And you might have time to go on a walk, on a lunch walk, to reflect on, instead of just being reactive all the time. You can be proactive, thinking and reflecting on what should I do next, working more on the business instead of being stuck in.
Yes. On instead of in.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, oh my gosh, we just, we've barely scratched the surface of this. And I think it is very important. So I definitely want to have you on again. So we will do that. But in the meantime, Susanna, tell us a little bit more about, because, we mentioned you're in Sweden, but hello, it's, the World Wide Web makes everything doable. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and how do people find you?
Yeah. I am a CEO coach for small and medium-sized companies, and I also work with their management team. I can also go in and do projects for that company if needed, but mainly through coaching in different setups, either really quick intensive coaching or longer coaching programs like for half a year or a year. But mostly I work with people 99 days.
Okay.
Because,
we didn't even talk about why just 99 days.
No, that is pretty much 13 weeks. And
Okay.
that is the time needed to prepare, change something, and get it into a habit.
Okay.
Like we talked about delegation. In my book, I end it with how can the new book that is coming out, the 99-day roadmap, that you can change something within 99 days, and you can focus, for example, on delegating better, or start listening to your people, and then I will have examples and templates and stuff that you can create your own 99-day roadmap from the lessons and the examples and the quick wins and practices I have in the book. It's a really practical book that you can use either chapter by chapter or yes. So but mainly I coach CEOs to really get into what do I want to do. What is my CEO role? How can I get out of the operation, for example? How can I create a company that will be sustainable and able to scale with a company culture that is with me, work with me instead of for me? And how can I create organizational structure and processes and everything in place so that so we have systems that helps us so we can scale without being overwhelmed. So that is the main part. And I'm in Sweden, but I see that this is something everyone needs.
Right.
Yeah. And actually the what do you say, the thought of having a CEO coach is much more natural in the US and Canada, for example, and it is in Sweden. And we have a different way of doing business here. So and I love to speak English. And so yes, so that is why I say US and Canada. And I also think that the business climate, not think, but I know that the business climate and the business setup in the US is, or in Sweden, is more sustainable. It's more like people oriented than it might be in the US in general. It's more like hire or fire. But it's yes, so we have like a Scandinavian approach to how to build sustainable workplaces. So that is also something that I want to bring to other companies. But, yeah. So I have programs. I have different kinds of programs. Like you can have the 99 days, like really set up a program with the culture. You can have a program with working with time management and creating the CEO role. So there are a couple of different versions of the 99 day, but everything leads to getting results, both on the bottom line, but also in your life with your culture. And if you do that, you create such positive ripple effects that will go throughout the company, but also into people's homes when they bring it home in the evening. So that is my way of providing more love into the world, so to speak, like creating companies where people love to work. And then they will be happier, more fulfilled, and satisfied, not dreading the Monday on the Sunday evening.
Right. I love it. I love it. Well, we will have links to your book and to your website in the show notes. And so, and as I said, we'll have you on again because we just scratched the surface. And I think it is important because in one way or another, we are all leaders.
Yeah.
And, and so how are we more effective at what we do? Are we just getting frustrated, or are we seeing people blossom under us, right? Isn't that the best thing, is to see, people going off and, they might leave your company, but you know what? If they left your company happy and they're going on to do what makes them happier, isn't that great, right?
Yeah.
So cool. Well, so we will have you on again. And so I can't wait to do that. But until then, Susanne, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Now I just got blank. Final thoughts, none. No, but really, it's about you. And if you are in a position, if you are in a role, if you're dissatisfied with how your life is at the moment, with how you sit in boring meetings, you just feel like you get nothing done, you're in this hamster wheel and your company's stuck, everything. There are other things to do, and you only have one life. And it shouldn't be wasted. There are so much more fun things to do, and you have the key to change that. And don't be afraid to hire a coach, for example, or hire coaches. I have 3 different coaches myself, because everyone needs someone who gives you tough love and will help you with where you are at now, and who might be not too many steps ahead of you, but a couple of steps ahead. So you have someone that can really guide you forward.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer. I've been having so much fun talking with Susanne Ekström. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.